So in our last Marvel video, we said that Ego was the most powerful villain in the MCU.
But you know who might just be the second most powerful villain?
That's right, Squidward.
What?
No, of course, we're talking about Ebony Maw. I mean, look at this guy. He could easily take on Thanos, especially without the gauntlet.
So the real question is, how did he become so powerful? And since he is so powerful, why does he work for Thanos?
So let's talk about Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw is part of Thanos' crew, the Dark Order, at the beginning of Infinity War. He seems to really worship Thanos and is sent to get the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. He manages to take on Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Wong, and nearly succeeds. The only reason he really fails is because of a pretty unlucky situation for himself.
Maybe Ebony Maw was born with these powers, but you would think that if there was an entire race of these super overpowered species, we would see another example of these powers somewhere in the MCU.
But in fact, we do. But not in space, on planet Earth. That's right, Scarlet Witch has very similar powers to Ebony Maw. They both have the levitation and telekinesis powers, and even though we don't see it in the MCU, Ebony Maw in the comics also has mind manipulation powers, which is very similar to Scarlet Witch's mind powers.
So in case you don't remember, Scarlet Witch and her brother Quicksilver got their powers when they were experimented on by Hydra and got exposed to the Mind Stone. Which might also mean that Ebony Maw also got his powers from the Mind Stone.
What? Well, the Mind Stone actually makes a lot of sense, because the definition of telekinesis is literally the supposed ability to move objects by mental power. And mental manipulation is literally what the stone itself does.
But the only thing that Marvel doesn't explain is what does super speed have to do with the Mind Stone? Like, literally any other stone works better. But I guess Quicksilver did die in the same movie he was introduced, so why are we even talking about him? Anyway, where were we? Oh, that's right, Ebony Maw.
Now the only question is, when did Ebony Maw get experimented on? Well, you might remember that Thanos actually owned the Mind Stone before he gave it to Loki, who lost it in the Avengers.
But we know that if Hydra thought of experimenting with the Mind Stone, then Thanos definitely did. Especially before he just gave it to Loki.
This would explain why Ebony works for Thanos, and it would also explain that moment in Infinity War when Thanos finds out Ebony is dead and says,
"I take it the Maw is dead. This day extracts a heavy toll."
Like, what do you mean Ebony's death is a heavy toll? Aren't you like planning on killing half the universe today? But the reason Thanos cares so much about Ebony is, to him, he's more than just one of his henchmen. He's a super powerful weapon designed by Thanos and powered by an Infinity Stone.
So that's our theory. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it isn't as long or as big of a theory as our last Marvel theory, which asks the question of whether Thanos and Star-Lord are actually brothers. So if you enjoyed this video, go to the description and check it out.
Yes, it was a marvelous theory.
And we also made ourselves an Instagram, so we're going to use that to post like short edits and stuff that we think are cool.
Yeah, go check us out on the Showtime Brothers.
So I guess, see you next time.
Bye! What is wrong with us? Powers somewhere in the MCU.
Right?
So that's our theory. Alright, Ebony Maw.
You just left out the whole joke.
I forgot the joke.